No, Mr. Genuis, back to you, please, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I think everything should be working on my end. I think one thing that's come clearly through the Liberal line here is that they believe that investing in Canada means investing in luxury for a few well-connected officials. This underlines that Liberals can't tell the difference between investing in Canada and investing in themselves. And this was very clear in Mr. Kuzmerichuk's comments. Of course, Conservatives recognize the importance of our presence in New York. We also recognize the cost of living crisis and that events can be held in various places. We don't need an infinite number of possible places to host events. And I want to drill down into this, the government's argument here that this is fundamentally about hosting. So the government of Canada purchased a glitzy $9 million residence on Billionaires Row with all kinds of incredibly luxurious features. It's much nicer than the kind of property that most Canadians or most New Yorkers would have. And the claim that the government's made is, well, this allows them to host events. Ironically, though, this glitzier property, much nicer place for the occupant, but has
just a point of order, Chair.
Less hosting space.
All right, let me interrupt you. That's a point of order, Mr. Genuis.
I'm just wondering if you could just check through the clerk if we're having any challenges with our interpretation. I just.
I'm hearing it okay. I'm hearing the French okay. Are you interpreter? Can you hear Mr. Genuis okay? Yep,
okay.
We're fine.
Perfect. I apologize for the interruption.
Sorry, Mr. Genuis. Go ahead.
No problem. So, in terms of potential hosting in this new location, do you have a copy of the condo rules associated with hosting events in the new location?
Mr. Chair, once again, when it comes to the new location that we have purchased, it is more efficient and cost-effective, as we said.
That's not in terms of my question, sir. Do you have the condo rules?
Mr. Chair, in terms of the condo and the condo rules, we would get. I would have to get back to you. I don't have that information with me right now.
Okay, sir. The primary justification you've used is that you want to be hosting events in the new location. You think it's more appropriate for hosting them. There are rules associated with hosting events. You must surely know what those rules are in order to make the case that this is a more appropriate or preferential location in some way, or that you can host events at all in the new location. And yet you don't know what those rules are. Is that correct?
We're actually purchasing as a more suitable and private setting for our high-level things that it was mentioned.
Sir,
when it comes to
condo rules.
Yeah, when it comes to rules, I will turn to my colleague, Mr. Dubois, that can speak to the details of those rules.
Does anybody have the condo rules?
Thank you for the question. Yes, somebody has the condo rules, but I don't have them with me. I know that there are two options for the head of mission there in that building. It's basically he can use his own unit to entertain for smaller, more personal events. But there's also.
Sir, do you have the specific condo rules? Does somebody in the government of Canada have those specific condo rules? You understand how important this is, right? The whole justification for this luxury condo is we can host events. There are rules that govern the building in terms of what events can be hosted. So somebody in the government of Canada should have those rules and should be able to provide those quickly to this committee. Can you undertake to ensure that we are able to see those rules within, say, 48 hours?
I would, I'm totally, I know those rules exist and I know somebody has it. I can undertake to go back and find them. I would rather have a longer period of time to deliver if the chair agrees with me.
Okay, well, we need to have them prior to next week's meeting with Mr. Clark. So would you get them to us by Monday at noon?
Yeah, I can come back and inquire and see if I can get them to the committee by Monday.
But by Monday at noon, they'll need to be translated as well.
I'm sorry, was that on? Did you mention the translation? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I assume the existing. Oh yeah. I assume this is part of my time.
Would you maybe advise the clerk end of the day or tomorrow morning about an update on when you'll be able to provide those rules to us, and then we'll get back to the committee then.
Thank you for the flexibility, Mr. Chair, because the document must be only in one official language.
Oh, I know, but just get back to the clerk today or us tomorrow or the clerk tomorrow morning about how long or when you'll be able to deliver that to us so we can get it translated.
Thank you.
You've got a short bit of time left, Mr. Genos.
Yeah. Just a follow-up question on that. Can those existing rules be changed by a simple majority of people in the building? How can those rules be changed? And what are the chances that the hosting rules would change once we've moved in?
Well, there's always an annual meeting with the building condo owner, and the rules can certainly be amended. But
so you don't know the rules, and the rules, even if they are more favorable, they can be changed by a vote of those in the building. So the whole justification for this luxury condo is hosting events. And you can't tell me the rules for hosting events, and those rules are subject to change by a vote of those in the building, and allegedly, so many of our potential investments depend on the ability to hold events in the private home of a consul general. Like, do you see the obvious absurdity of this, sir? How your lack of knowledge of those rules doesn't square with the claims that have been made today?
Great that I think Mr. Dubois has clearly explained that we know those rules, like that's part of like what the team is looking at, and we will be pleased to get back to you in terms of when we could provide those rules. And I think the question was about can those rules can be changed? Yes, they can be changed. That's typical in a condo, and they will have their annual meeting to look at that.
You don't have the rules to present to us today, so we'll look forward to looking at them in the future, I suppose.
Thanks, Mr. Genuis. We're going over back to the West Coast. Mr. Baines, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, it's funny being hung up on just the events. I think we should go back to the importance. That isn't the whole justification of these, being situated in an area where, diplomatic relations can occur in a favorable manner. And I'll go back to maybe Mr. Allen or Mr. McCubbing on this. We were talking about, I think you mentioned, we are competing. This is a financial sector, the sort of a headquarters of, even the world when it comes to, global trade and some of these missions. If you look at, the importance of being situated, if we even look at Vancouver, for example, many of the consul offices, many of the consul residences are located in and around areas where there's access to, for example, I know you mentioned critical minerals and how important that strategy is for Canada. We have over 1,500 mining headquarters located in the Vancouver area. And even when my office specifically, if you look at the Minister's Regional's office and the proximity to access to consul generals and organizing and setting up meetings and being able to go, I had the opportunity to welcome consul generals from not only the United States but Chile to the largest commercial fishing harbor in Canada, which is located in Steveston Village in my city of Richmond, British Columbia. And it's a place where over 100 million pounds of seafood is offloaded annually, which directly results in over $200 million of revenue to the region. And those things are important to many of these consul offices to consider. So maybe, speak a little bit more about that. And we recently had the Australian representatives visit the Seaspan shipyard, where we just announced and launched the largest oceanographic vessel that's been built recently. We have a joint supply ship that's going to be ready to announce later this fall. So there's a lot going on where many of our science, our innovation, Canadian technology, things that that we have to offer and share need to be not only, translated through meetings, but the proximity of people being in an area that where we can have consecutive meetings, back-to-back meetings, and not having to travel lengths of time. So, New York City is not the easiest place to get around. So maybe you can speak to all of those, things that matter. We talked about the trillions that are at our stake here, and we need that money. We need that money to provide the services and supports that Canadians need on a regular basis here. The people that even are the most vulnerable. So maybe speak to the importance of the proximity of the location.
Sure. I'd be pleased to. As I think we've said earlier, there's an incredible concentration in New York City of people, of capital, of institutions. It's a very large city. It can be difficult to navigate, and so that centrality is, I think, incredibly important for us as well as our like-minded, who as I say, are also our economic competitors. When we organize events, one of the success factors is the uptake on attendance of how many people do we invite and how many people actually attend, and when events are central, when they're held at a residence, the ratio of uptake is higher among the people whose help we need to advance our interests. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Vignola, please, for 2.5.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So I hope to get an answer to the following question. If not, I hope to get the answer in writing. Prior to 2022, you needed authorization for purchases of over $4 million. But since 2022, that limit was raised to $10 million. So let's take the 5-year period between 2017 and 2022. How often did GAC have to ask for this type of authorization to purchase or build a residence? Thank you, Chair. I will turn to my colleague, Shirley Carruthers, who is responsible for finances.
I can tell you is that between 2016 and 2021, the department actually had to go to Treasury Board Secretariat a total of 44 times in order to get transaction authorities to go forward with different transactions. So whether that be to enter into a lease transaction and or to purchase a building. Thank you.
OK. Et est-ce que ce nombre de fois...
And those times, those 44 times, was that greater than what was being done previously, let's say between 2011 and 2016? Or is it approximately equivalent? How does it compare?
I'm sorry, but I don't have that information with me, and I was unable to locate that information prior to coming to this committee. However, I can go back to the department and see if I can locate that information.
Mr. Bachrach, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm interested in Global Affairs' evaluation of risk surrounding this transaction, and perhaps our witnesses could describe what Global Affairs saw as the greatest risk involved in this particular transaction, the purchase of the new apartment, and more generally, what the various risks that were evaluated as part of the decision-making process were.
Thank you very much for this question. Indeed, risk is an important element that we look at our process and what's included in our framework, as I said before. When it comes to risk and part of the details of those risks, I will turn to my colleague, Mr. Dubois, to talk about those.
Thank you. The business case that we build for those purchases is cover multiple angles, and one of them is absolutely the risks associated with the transaction. And there are different there's different risk associated with those transactions. Of course, the risk associated with the timing of it. There's also risk with the the assumption that we make when we do the financial evaluation. As the transaction progress, we get more known information more than estimation, so that makes it a bit more secure. There's also the assessment of the asset condition that is a risk when we do this kind of transaction. There's a financial risk with currency fluctuation as well, because we're paying in U.S. dollars, so we want to take that into consideration. There's market availability, and so that would be part of the of all of the risks that are part of the option analysis and the business case that we've put together.
Is the risk around the future value of the real estate? I know in this particular building and in Steinway Tower in particular, we've seen really significant decreases in the asking price for units. More than 20% of the units in the building have never sold. The vacancy rate is estimated to be around 50%. And the project's lender has written off debt due to not being able to secure returns. I'm just wondering what the evaluation of risk when it comes to the future value of the property was in the opinion of Global Affairs.
I'm afraid there hasn't been time left over for an answer, but Mr. Bachrach, you'll have one more round after this, so perhaps we can get to it